up, you guys? Jake Adams, and it is my last day in Australia, and my whirlwind tour of aquarium store visits is almost coming to an end. But Cam and Anya of Galleria Aquatica were nice enough to drive me an hour north to some friendly competition here on the Gold Coast, here to see Darren of Reef Secrets, Reef Secrets Aquariums. I've heard a lot about this shop. Surprisingly, I've written about it before, so that's really kind of cool. He had a story where we wrote about the $4,000 Yasha goby because this fish is common in Indonesia, but apparently it's really rare here in Australia. So there's some cool stuff inside. I'm really excited to share this one video with you and kind of wrap it up here in Australia for a little while because it's been a grueling pace. But Reef Secrets was definitely worth the trip up here to the Gold Coast. So let's go inside, check it out, and see what we can find. All right, so here we are at Reef Secrets Aquariums. This is a nice, roomy fish store. It's a lot of fish, a lot of corals. I've heard that Darren was literally one of the better kept reef aquarium secrets here in the Australian reef scene. And like I said, it was worth the drive. I've actually seen a couple of very interesting products. He's got a good balance of dry goods, livestock, fish, and corals. As usual, my fish store recipe is to give you a sneak peek at the show tank and then come back around to it at the end. So that's what we're gonna do. Once again, we got a handful of Aquafora's products. Got a little bit of Continuum, and yeah, this is the biggest spread of Zoanthids I have seen here in Australia so far. Big spread of Red Sea products. The first livestock tank we're going to focus it on is kind of an old school Red Sea 250D. I think that's the name of it. The KH Guardian has already made its way to the land down under, and then a very interesting Conch Aqua Slim pump. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Waveline Wave Puck, and you can see it actually has that inside-out rotor stator design that helps give it a really low profile. Also in here is a gorgeous, absolutely delectable tiny red polyp of what I believe to be a Tenactis, a close relative of the disc coral. This guy has just like the most luscious red color with some orange polyps, and next to it is a really nice colony of red-orange style zoanthids. This appears to be the Frag tank. Once again, Cam and Anya and Darren are hot to the frag scene. He's got a huge variety of frags, and I'm very thrilled to see some maricultured corals from sustainable reefs. There's a couple of these very interesting oddball plating acroporas I believe are from Northwest Australia, from Darwin. I don't think it's a true solitariensis, but I'm still waiting to get a piece for myself to grow out. So right around this corner is something truly amazing. I was actually really excited to see this. Worm rocks are normally a Parietes coral. Sometimes they'll be Silocinella, but I've never seen Christmas tree worm rocks covered in Cyphastria. So this is actually a Cyphastria that's loaded up with so many worm rocks. And yeah, it's a real treat to see. Look at all those freaking colors, man. There's blue, orange, red, multicolor, little purple tip. Very, very neat. And something that I really tuned into here recently are these green staghorn frags. And these are analogous to the green slimer frags that we have in America, but apparently they call this the Dallas Acro. And they thought that they came from America, but they really don't look like the green slimer I'm used to. And we saw these at Jamie's tank just earlier today. The tips almost get a little bit bluish, so it might be an Acropora yungi, but it's definitely not the exact same as the green slimer that is one of the first beginner frags for many people in the United States. So this tank is kind of the catch-all, has a variety of zoanthid frags. Once again, the Australians are really on the ball when it comes to their Recordia Yumas. So I was really able to find a lot of really great polyps. Again, there's a diversity of zoanthids and a really cool and slightly different strain of Rhodactis indosinensis, just kind of a green frilly mushroom. This one's a little bit different, a little bit meatier, the Australian style version, and I really like it. It's not the rarest thing, but it propagates real well. And it definitely has that across the room factor that will actually really get your attention. And as I was saying, this is a catch-all for a lot of different polyps, and I was able to find a lot of really cool Discosomas, some jawbreaker style, some meaty Rhodactis, and man, there's definitely a few polyps in here that I would love to put in my tank if I was home on the other side of the world. So this is actually kind of a massively overlit soft coral tank. It has 3 Radion G4 Pros, I think at full blast. For some reason, I was told that they love Radions out here. They're not fans of the Reef link for some reason. I think that might have to do with slightly sketchy internet that I've experienced. And this is a little bit different. A tank full of long tentacle anemones. Very neat display. Most stores would be happy to have just a couple long tentacles, but this tank is practically chock full with anemones. Got a little clownfish up in there, and Darren was telling me how much he liked this old Illumagic Blaze LED that has just never failed on him. Works really good for his customers, and this is definitely turning out to be one of the highlight brands of Australian LED lighting. Australia is really killing it when it comes to the large, fleshy LPS corals. The spread of euphyllias that you Australians enjoy is something that we could only dream of in America. There's just so many hammers, so many frog spawns, so many torches, so many long tentacle plate corals. The fleshy corals here are totally off the hook. You know, nowhere in America would you see like just a tray full of Cynarinas and Acanthophyllias in the same tank. And Darren's also got a really good spread of orange disc corals. There must be like 60 in here, and they're all tiny and beautiful and nearly perfect for the nano tanks. But we got some nice flashy variety of corals. Really, there's some Montes, there's some Leptoceras here in a variety of different colors. A beautiful Micromusa diminuta. This one often gets confused for Vivites, but it's not. And again, this is the Acropora section. And I was told that he did his best to try to keep a good stock in stock for me for this video, but seems like all the stores I've been to have had really good weekends where they've sold out of a lot of their better aquarium corals. We're gonna just peruse some of the fish selection here at Reef Secrets Aquariums. And there's a wide variety of fish. And interestingly, he's got a pretty good selection of domesticated clownfish. By looking at those, I'm guessing a variety of these solid whites are Wyoming white Oscillarius clownfish. Reef Secrets has its fair share of beautiful cleaner shrimp. Man, I'm always just super keen for an Australian tusk. I know this is a common fish, but if you never saw one, you would just absolutely flip out seeing one for the first time. It's a beautiful species. It's got tons of personality, super hardy, even semi-reef safe. You know, it'll mess with some invertebrates, but those orange stripes that are bordered in blue and those bold blue teeth are just something that I just never get over. These are pretty cool. The blue assessors, once again, these would be like a pretty rare fish in the United States, but here the blue assessors are selling for 30 bucks. It'd be at least double or triple that in America. So very cool to see these. So, you know, a kind of a bread and butter staple saltwater fish aquarium stock. Nothing to write home about, but we have one more tank to check out. All right, so the final 2 show tanks here at Reef Secrets Aquariums is this aquarium here that has a few interesting specimens. Here's a beautiful, brilliant orange Rhodactis. I just can't get enough of these. You know, there's actually 2 different types. There's kind of like the reddish ones that will get really red, and then the neon orange ones that are usually few and far between. So very cool to see that. And there's also another blue giant carpet anemone. Darren tells me that he had a chiller malfunction for a while, and the anemone lost a lot of color, but thankfully it didn't die, so hopefully in time it will recuperate. And then last but not least is a packed community reef tank. There's a couple really notable specimens in here. This guy right here, this Discosoma with these really neat, kind of like pseudo bubbles. They're not like big and bouncy. They just kind of spread over the mantle of the Rhodactis. So I haven't seen that morph of a coralliomorph before. And there's a really cool cluster of Leptoceras here. What I like is we got a green, we've got an orange, both of which are pretty common. And then there's this weird mustard yellow Leptoceras here, which is kind of the faintest hint of green oral discs in the middle. But you know what? You know, there's two showstoppers in this aquarium, and it's impossible not to notice this ginormous Rickordia yuma. It is of the more normal pink type, but this thing has got to be like 7 or 8 inches across. Truly one of the biggest Rickordia yumas I've ever seen. And if it wasn't there, I'd be freaking out over this beautiful striped Rhodactis here with a lot of branchy tentacles and vesicles. Really, really neat. But one of the real standout acros and real standout corals in this tank is a beautiful blue strain of Acropora locani. Normally this coral is a little bit more on the purple side, and this one has its own kind of shape going on, but really, really neat to see. I understand that the locani is actually kind of rare in Australia. It's got this gorgeous baby blue coloration that I haven't seen before. So, you know, overall, it's a great looking fish store. He's got a ton of stock, just kind of perched up top. So when people ask, they know, you know, they know they can find some gear here. So yeah, this is actually a really well polished kind of full rounded reef aquarium store, and really, really glad I got to come here and check it out. This is actually going to be the topper and wrap up my whirlwind tour of aquariums and aquarium stores here on the east coast of Australia. There was a lot of people who helped get me from point A to point B, made sure that I saw a lot of beautiful aquariums with very short notice. So you know who you are. I'm gonna thank everybody for making it happen. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, sharing the news. There's been so many positive comments about this video series. It's been really motivating and encouraging along the way as I was working really, really hard to put all this stuff together. See, on this last video, I don't even care about my hair anymore. Like, I'm just like, okay, let's do this video, let's get it done. So, yeah, thanks to everybody for tuning in. You know the drill. If you enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up button. Share with somebody you know, especially Australian reefers need to know what shops are around. Go ahead and subscribe because, yeah, the YouTube channel is just growing and we have a lot more countries to visit. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next adventure. So until next time.